Welcome to this month's edition of Thrive. Thrive is a platform where I get to share some of my own meditation, some of my learnings, some of the things I'm learning from reading, from observation, from meditation, and different areas of life with people from different parts of the world. I mean, we've had participants from the US, from Europe, from UK, even from other parts of Europe, and then also essentially from Africa, where I generated from. I am African, and so I also we also have quite a bit of the audience emanating from our parts of the world. And we've started this series that we titled Road to Wealth, the Road to Wealth series. And we're doing it for 5 months now, and this is the fifth edition of that Road to Wealth series. And today we are talking about the X factor to wealth and prosperity. The X factor to wealth and prosperity. By the way, this is the 31st edition of Thrive with Babs. We started, as I always say, more or less in person. We were using our office there at Ilupeju. And then from there, after I had to move, we left for some time, but we now came back. And then with COVID, we just started to do online version of it. And, so we've been pretty consistent so far. I think maybe we've missed 1 or 2 months, but we've been pretty good in terms of consistency of this event. And today, as I said, we are looking at the X factor to wealth and prosperity in terms of whether, and these are some of the previous topics that we've taken at Thrive. You will see, if you look down, the last one is Road to Wealth, how to start from nothing, part 1 to 4. At the last edition, we had investment experts, financial planners coming to talk to us, and to talk to us about. I will do a recap of that briefly when I get to the slide that speaks to that, about what are the investment options. Because yes, I mean, it's good to be talking about to become wealthy, how to become prosperous, how to become rich, but there are also principles. There are spiritual principles to wealth. There are also conventional principles to wealth. And we started with those conventional principles. We started with the conventional principles drawn mostly from the classic on riches and wealth. That's the richest man in Babylon by George S. Clason. That book, I mean, for like 2 editions of this series, we looked at the wisdom, the insights, and the nuggets from that book for the first two editions. Then the third one we talked about is spiritual principle to wealth. Then the last one, which was the last one we had last month, we talked about conventional principles in terms of modern days avenue to wealth. And today we're also going a bit fundamental. Let me say that we're fundamental in terms of how to approach wealth. For reference scripture, not scripture per se, reference that we use for Thrive is usually mostly drawn from the Bible, using the Bible as a literature piece, not as a religious or a preachy thing. So, and why we use that? Because it's enduring, and the message, the universality of the lessons there, and then most of what can relate to some of the scenarios that have been captured in the Bible. Then talking about now deep diving into what we discussed at the last meeting. As I said, that last session was we talked about Road to Wealth financial planning, and we had officials from ARM Investment. I'm sure all of us know ARM Investment. They are quite popular in Nigeria, and where we had Oshenuga coming to talk to us about different avenue to wealth, choosing those conventional means. And it started with saying that we need to evaluate our current financial status. Where am I financially? What are my income? Okay, I'm going on this road to wealth. So what are my income? What are my expenses? Do I have savings? And do I have debts that I'm servicing? That when you have that matrix of 4, that helps you to know where you are at the moment. And then you also talked about the difference, there is between investment and investing. So you can have investment portfolio, you can be investing actively in a venture. Then it also talks about what are the goals and the purposes for our investments. And I think I love this part when you talk about the budgeting rules. And most of us who are in financial or fiscal area, we know that okay, there's what they call the 50-30-20 rule to budget planning. That is, you devote 50% to your needs, 30% to your wants, and 20% to savings and investment. Then you also, because of the fact that yes, some of us believe in tithing, we believe in charitable giving. That okay, if you want to you want to also do charitable giving, tithing, then you also now maybe consider doing 50, 20, 20, 10. 50 still goes to your needs, 20 goes to your want, 20 goes to your savings, and 10% goes to charity. Savings and investment, obviously. And then, also very important that even though you are seeing the 20 that is meant for your savings or your investment last, it should actually be the first thing you do. It should be the first expenditure or disbursement you do when you make your money. Because if you recall some of the things we learned from George Classon's book, the first lesson was that pay yourself first. Because really, the truth is that, and I'm also very, very guilty of this, the truth is that once we earn money, the first thing is we're always thinking, oh, I have this bill to pay, I have this one to give, I have this thing to do. And we really think about ourselves. And George Clason said that it's stupidity. You pay everybody, but you don't pay yourself. So pay yourself first. That should be the first rule of budgeting. He mentioned it, and that is the first lesson in George Clason's The Richest Man in Babylon. Pay yourself first. So that money you save or you invest is you paying yourself. It's not just to call them and say, okay, pay myself first. Let me go and flange or let me go and enjoy. There's nothing bad with enjoying. There's nothing bad in enjoying the fruit of your labor, but pay yourself first. You are keeping it safe. Maybe you want to now save something and you want to spend another part of that money just to take care of yourself. And we really, really do that. So, and then you also talked about the different portfolios that we have for events, for investments. Was talking about bonds, real estate, stocks, commodities and gold, mutual funds, arts, and collectibles for those who want to build wealth through arts. You can imagine one of the enduring pieces of art was the Mona Lisa or what's it called this last night, the Lord's Supper, paintings by somebody like Leonardo da Vinci that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars in this age. So can you imagine somebody who has that kind of collection is in money? You may not see the money in cash, but if they decide to sell what they have, they are worth millions, hundreds of millions in monetary terms. Or if you now decide to open a museum of your collections that are very unique and very rare, you can imagine people coming to come and watch those. You make lots of money from that. So there are actually different savvy ways to make money. Even your knowledge, your insights can be minted or can be transmitted to money-making ventures. Then the take home from that, for those of us who were at that meeting, was we should open an investment account. I don't know how many of us did that. But the session we did before that, we said, because we talked about people who were the richest in the world, and we're talking about the likes of King Solomon in the Bible, John D. Rockefeller, and then George Washington Carver, though he wasn't among the top rich people, but he also had a very unique idea of making money because of the way we discussed. I don't know, did anybody here open an investment account after that our meeting last month? Anyone, please? Did anyone open an investment account? Please raise up your hand because I'm looking at the screen, so I may not be able to see you unless you raise up your hand. Did anyone open an investment account? Wow. So nobody opened an investment account among those of us that attended. And some of us were asking questions. Do you have branches here in Akure, in this place, in that? And so nobody opened an investment account. Okay, did anybody read about these fellows, about King Solomon, John D. Rockefeller, or George Washington Carver, based on the previous two? Oh, great. Linus, thank you. So Linus said that he converted one of his account into a savings or investment savings. So thank you, Linus. So you see that somebody has already started the journey to building wealth. He has this, maybe his current account, maybe his savings account, he now converted into an investment account. So somebody started. The key is to start from wherever you are. Start from wherever you are and do something, no matter how small. I think he also mentioned that no matter how small, do something. Do something. That is the way we can build wealth. I mean, it's very rare when you see wealth just jump on anyone. It rarely happens. It comes as a process of building a system and being painstaking about it, being careful, being meticulous, and being laborious. And so, please, for those of us who are here now, you've had, please go and open an investment account, an account that you do not have to touch all the time whenever you need money. And you know that if you have to even touch it, it will take time because money will not come to you immediately. So if you have any urgent need, that means, hey, if you go to this account, nothing will happen because, I mean, you won't get it immediately. So, and then the pressure to dip into the account will have been over, and then maybe you just leave it untouched. So let's do something about it. And let's also try to study the lives of people who have attained wealth. So today we are looking at the X factor. And here we want to learn from one another. So I'll be asking us these questions. Please, anybody is free to talk. Just indicate and answer these 3 questions for us. What do you consider to be unconventional methods to accumulate wealth? And have you done this? If it's one or if it's more than one, have you done any of them before? And what was the result that you got when you followed this unconventional method? Anyone, please, that is willing to share with us? You can listen to like 1 or 2 people. This is where we get to also learn from you guys, because I mean, knowledge, as we all know, is not resident in one person. We are all carriers of knowledge. We're all carriers of wisdom, of understanding and insights. So as we share, I get to learn, others get to learn also from you. So please, do you consider that, oh, this method to wealth is unconventional? And but if you deploy it, you accumulate wealth. And then, have you done it before? And if you have, what was the result that you got as a result of doing it? Anybody willing to share with us? Anyone, please? Or should I just call names? Should I call our names? Maybe somebody would. Linus, since you've you've started this journey. I believe among all of us here, you want to share with us what you consider maybe an unconventional method to accumulating wealth? Before I call on other people's names. Linus?
Sir. Okay. Oh, would I want to see there's an unconventional way
Mm,
of gathering wealth? I just believe that whichever we once want to take into this journey of building wealth, one can take just be the conventional, because I'm trying to understand the term unconventional means of method of wealth accumulation, sir.
mm. Okay, thank you. Okay, is there any, tell me, caller, maybe a female this time around, a female. Evelyn, Evelyn, do you want to share with us what do you consider to be an unconventional um, means of gathering wealth, as Linus said it? And have you done any before? And then what was the result that you got on account of doing it? Did I just see? I said I called even and then maybe a network. Chinyere, do you want to share with us? I want to call a female this time around. So, and I know we have some of our friends in the internship with us. So I would rather call them because they won't come and crucify me at the end of the day. You know, why are you calling our names? Chinyere, you want to share with us? Uh, Chinyere, you can't talk. Okay, another female. Okay, Precious. Hello, Precious. Okay, so that we can save time. Is either you guys are just deliberately keeping mute, or maybe the network is not so good. So I'll just proceed. So, I mean, as we know, I mean, when you say something is unconventional, that means it doesn't follow the normal 1 plus 1 gives you 2, 2 plus 2 gives you 4, 4 plus 4 gives you 8. It doesn't follow that. That means the method to getting 8, to getting 2, to getting 4 is not conventional. It's not the usual one. Just there are just some elements of variables that were manipulated, and then you get the result. And manipulated is not being used in a bad or negative light now, but it's just a way of you put this mixture together and it results in a result for you. So I always use this. I've been using it for the past maybe 2 sessions now. That we should think about this. That most of us only wish for wealth. Most of us only wish for wealth. Unfortunately, the chord of wishes uh, is not strong enough to pull money. The chord, chord as in that rope of is not strong enough to pull money. If wishes, no, there's this saying that if wishes were horses, that even the beggars will ride, because I mean everybody has wishes or has a wish. So, but we only wish for it, but we don't do enough. We don't put enough effort, don't do the due diligence to attract wealth. And that is also obvious. I mean, when we say, okay, let's do this, and at the end of the day, most people don't even do those things. And we know that those things are good for us, but we do not get to do them. And I said, only those who desire wealth attract it, because the pool of desire always propels you to action, always propels you to action in the direction of your desire. So it's not just to wish. I'm sure everybody here wants wealth. Everybody here wants to be rich. Everybody here wants to be prosperous. Well, how many of us are really, really, really doing the due diligence that will fetch wealth, that will fetch prosperity, that will fetch us riches? How many of us are really, really committed, have that desire to be wealthy? I do. So it's not just say, okay, I want money. Any idiot can make money, and most idiots do, but it's not every idiot that can accumulate wealth and riches and prosperity, because it's easy to fizzle out than to accumulate. It's easy to build it, to quickly gather money. It's easier to fizzle money out, and then it's even easiest to just let it disappear and not even recall what you've done to garner the wealth. So it's not just making money. If we are talking about wealth accumulation, prosperity building, and riches. And that is a different bargain entirely. So we need to go beyond wishing to desiring. You know, when you desire something, there's a pull. Until you get it, you won't rest. That is where we should attract. And money is good. Wealth is good. Forget what people may tell you. Root of money is the root of all evil. They say money is the root. They say the love for money, love is different from the money itself. When you lust for it and you're not doing it the right way, it leads to evil machinations, imaginations, actions, reactions, and all that. Like we see people who are doing ritual killing, just killing people using, just to get that. That is lust for money. And if you ask them what they need, they won't have any concrete idea what they need the money for. They just want to oppress and show off. The desire for money should be beyond oppressing and showing off, but should meet fundamental needs. And if you look at the so-called rich people, people who are really, really wealthy, if you check as in top richest people in the world, you won't see that any of them did money ritual. So all these people that are doing money ritual, how much is their net worth at the end of the day? So you can see the silliness of this of the money ritual. How much do they really have at the end of the day? Yeah, they kill person, murder people, and they have to be sacrificing that in God knows like how many times, maybe in a year or in a period of time and all that. And then what is their net worth at the end of the day? And that one doesn't even last because they have to keep sacrificing. But people that are really, really on top 100, you won't see any ritual killer there. You won't see any ritual money person there. So that to tell you that there's a better way to garner wealth. There's a better way to build prosperity. So today's topic, we're looking at accumulation of wealth and prosperity. The X factor. The X factor. Accumulating wealth and prosperity. What is the X factor? Please, I'll be asking us some questions. Please, I would really indulge us to try and participate so that we can all learn. As I said, this is a sharing session. It's not a monologue. It's a sharing session where I share, you share, and we all learn in the process. So I did a dictionary check on what is X factor. And the Oxford Dictionary said that it's a variable in a given situation that could have the most significant impact on the outcome. The X factor is a variable. Variable is something that is not fixed. When you're talking in terms of research, you're talking about variable factors and fixed factors. For those of us who delve into research, variables are those factors that are not fixed. They can be moved. They change from time to time in sort of age to age, or you are not the same age every time. So because maybe this year you are 11, next year you are 12. So it's always changing, but there's fixed factor, fixed factor such as race. I don't want to use gender because people are also now manipulating gender. So gender is no longer a fixed, it's no longer a fixed factor now. I want to say gender, people are now even manipulating gender. So, but fixed factor like race, you can never deny where you were born or how you were born. If you are black, you are black. If you like, tone your skin and tone Or if you are Caucasian, you are Caucasian. If you like, go and swim and bury yourself in charcoal. You can't. So race is a fixed factor. Age is a variable factor. I mean, it changes because there's no fixed element to it. Emotion, sentiment, some of those things are variable. So variable is a given situation that could have the most significant impact. Let's note the most. That means there are other areas of impact, but the X factor will give us the most significant on the outcome, impact on the action. So those on the outcome, those three words, very important, most significant impact. That means there are other impacts, but the X factor will give us the most significant impact. And I also try to define X factor as the one thing that can cause a dramatic and significant impact with long-term effects. That's one definition of X factor. One thing that can cause a dramatic and significant impact with long-term effects. Now we'll ask a fundamental question. And the question is, in your opinion, what do you think that can be in terms of you attaining wealth? Anybody willing to share with us? I think you know yourself, your journey to wealth will not be the same as mine. We only apply the same principle, but our journey will never be the same. So what, in your own opinion, would be that X factor that will launch you to wealth, that will launch you to prosperity? Anybody willing to share with us? So that we can learn and maybe, hey, this too, maybe I should do this too. Anyone willing to share with us, please? Okay, as I said, this is a sharing session. It's not a monologue. I'm always asking for audience insights. I'm always willing to learn from others as well, even as I share my own experiences and observations and meditation on some of these things. So please, anyone willing to share with us, what do you consider the X factor? And no answer is wrong because we are talking about you here. Somebody dropped a chat. I hope that's for us. Investment. Okay. Adasa said investment. Okay, thank you. Any other person willing to share with us? Any other person willing to share with us? What do you think can be that one thing that will launch you to wealth and to prosperity? The X factor. Any other person? If you don't want to talk, you can drop it in the chat. I will just keep my eyes glued so I can read whatever is there. Anyone, please, willing to share? Wow. Please, we have to engage this discussion. Maxwell says consistent hard work. Consistent hard work is the X factor that will launch into wealth and prosperity. And Taiwo Yang says, increase your ability to provide value. As I said, there's no wrong answer in this because we are talking what do you think is yours? So his ability to increase the value that he actually provides would be the X factor that will launch into wealth and prosperity. Any other person willing to share with us? Okay, I think another. Roslyn says having different sources of income with consistency, so multiple sources of income is an X factor that will launch into wealth. And Stella, my wife is there today. Thankfully, we don't have night duty or day duty today. So being prepared when opportunities come and seizing those opportunities. So to Stella, Ms. Oladele says that opportunities, seizing it, recognizing and seizing it is an X factor to her. And Evelyn says the right connection, knowing the right people is an X factor to her. And then Mary has been talking intentionality for some time now. And now she's saying that being intentional is an X factor. Thank you guys for all those contribution. I mean, all those. I mean, there's no wrong answer. In fact, I'm also learning from this because yes, that is another perspective. Life is full of perspectives, and the earlier we know that, the better. Life is all about perspectives. Is what you see is actually what, there's no absolute truth, and there's no absoluteness of truth from anywhere. It's the angle you see life from that you can talk about. It's the angle that you see life from that you can talk about. And I'm sure some of us have heard about this analogy of somebody who dressed, and then has a cap on his head, and what side of the cap has black, what side of the cap has white, and there were people at the two sides of the road, and he passed between them, and I said, okay, and then he asked, what is the color of my cap? And people there were saying it's black, and people were saying it's white, and they were arguing very vehemently. It's black. How are you blind? How can you not see that it's black? Are you black? How can you not see it? How can you call black? White, black. So it's the side you are seeing life from that determines what you say. So that means there's no absolute truth in a way. We all know the ultimate, after we've died, that's when most of these things that are even shredded to us, that's when they now become quite clear. Because even the Bible says that the secret things belong to the Lord, to God. There are certain things that will never be revealed on this earth. It's until we die that will now become perfect in knowledge. Though there are some things that are revealed to us, and those belong to us, and even those things are revealed to the extent that we can think, we can process them. That's why it's the insight is also not distributed equally. All of us don't have the same measure of insight. We don't have the same level of wisdom. We don't have the same level of understanding or knowledge. It's to the extent that we apply ourselves. That is what determines the depth of knowledge, the height of wisdom, the width of understanding and insight we have about any matter. So we need to, when we have insights, because we now have different measures of insights. Some people are more knowledgeable than the others. Some people, maybe in certain areas, that's why we had to call somebody like Oshenuga the last time to come and talk to us about financial planning, because I don't know much about it. I do my own bit as I can, but I can't talk in detail about it. So he's the expert there. He has more insights, and from that session, you could see that he was able to do justice to the topic than I could ever have done. So when we know that we have limited knowledge, that means we are not complete. That means we need to seek to know more so that we can better improve our games and take informed decisions and actions whenever we need to. So going further, this is a fundamental question. Can somebody help us to analyze these images? Anybody willing to talk to us? I would prefer somebody that can talk, not somebody that can type, please. Can you help us to analyze these images? These two images, they tell us, they answer the fundamental question of why the poor remain poor. Anyone willing to talk to us? Anyone, please? I'm begging, please, somebody should just be me so that it doesn't look like a monologue. All the contributions we have so far have been typed. Please, just let us know who you are, and then.
Okay, this is Maxwell.
Maxwell, okay, thank you.
I don't understand the second picture. I think the first one just talks about a person who is always on the receiving end instead of giving. I think that's what it means, that when you are always on the receiving end, that means you remain poor. You always get money, but you don't use money for something else. You don't invest it. I think that's what that
means. Thank you very much, Maxwell, for that. Thank you so much. Any other person willing to? Maxwell did talk about the second image, but he gave us a very good insight about the first. Anybody willing to take the second or take the two again together from another perspective? As I said, life is all about perspective. Anyone willing to share with us? Anyone, please? I'm not reading the comment. Somebody has to talk here. Or somebody can help us to read it out. At least let's hear somebody's voice, please. Somebody else's voice apart from my own. Who is willing to read the comment that was dropped there for us, please? Just let us know the person that typed it. Anyone? Okay, Precious.
I'm already saying something.
Okay, please go ahead. I see that Precious is raising her hand. Then we'll take the comment.
There are so many comments here. Being intentional about savings.
Okay. No, I think there's a new comment that just dropped after, or maybe was it a private message to me?
Okay.
So you can't see the message. Okay, that's Amos. You can't see the images. So can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, I can.
How come somebody said that they can't see the images?
The image you are looking at
your hand.
Tight-fisted.
Yes, thank you. Yes, tight-fisted. Oh, great. So that's another very fantastic description of this second image. The master said, okay, it's a bit, I don't know what it means. Any other person willing to share with us? Any other person, please? Okay, so let me just so that we, okay, Evelyn, please. You have the mic.
Okay, sir. To me, this image means that the poor, why the poor remain poor. It means that when you fail to invest or when you decide to eat everything that you earn, just like a farmer that decides to eat all his farm produce without keeping some for the rainy days, will definitely remain poor. So people that stay poor, if you check their savings life, the way they save, the way they invest, it might be just total zero. They don't know how to invest. There's what the Yoruba calls clean off your own So it means that you are eating with all your 10 hands, like everything as they come, you spend. So there's not time, when you can actually fall back on something that you have invested in or saved.
Wow. Thank you so much, Evelyn, for that. I even like the fact that you used, an African saying just to buttress that point. And that also reminds me, I think Amos is there. Amos, there's this theory that Amos actually mentioned the last time we met. Well, 2 meetings ago. I've forgotten now. It's like a cycle why the poor continue to be poor. And it's very, very, I've forgotten the name of that theory, that concept. Amos, if you remember, please just remind me. Because they don't, I will just describe it. The name itself has eluded my memory now. Because they don't earn enough, that means they don't save enough. And because they don't save enough, that means they don't have enough for investment. And because they can't invest or they don't invest enough, that means they remain poor. So it's a vicious cycle for the poor. I don't want any of us to have that kind of testimony or that kind of profile. Because I believe I'm not earning enough, that means I can't save enough. And because I'm not saving enough, that means I can't invest enough, because there are some opportunity that is not even by virtue of the fact that maybe you have all the money, you have something, and then you can put it there immediately to make use of our opportunity. And because you don't invest enough, that means the person is not able to come out of the poverty trap. So it's a trap. But these images here, thank you guys for those wonderful answers. I will talk to this first one first, the one to my right, and the folded fist. And it's also drawn from an African an African saying, and bad enough, Africa is also the home to the poorest people in the world. I mean, the poorest region in the world. Africa ranks high among them. And knows that when you are tight-fisted, you can't receive. A clenched fist can this hand that we see, can it receive anything like this when it's this tight and closed? It can't. It can't, because it's tight, it's closed, it cannot receive. And this other one this one that is collecting something is open. That is why it can receive this money that is being given to him. But this one, can somebody give somebody hand? Can he collect any money like this? He can't collect anything because it's tight-fisted. That means the person is Miss Sally, doesn't give out, doesn't open the hand. But the one that opened the hand can receive. So if you want to break out of the poverty trap or out of that, you can't be tight-fisted. And we know what tight-fisted means. I mean, tight-fisted mean in our own biosphere. But another interpretation is that, see, this person that is giving the person that is where is the position of the hand that is giving? Is it up or down? Hello?
Up.
So that means the person that gives is always above the person that receives. The person that gives, the hand that gives is always above or superior to the hand that receives. Please, this is why the poor remain poor. The poor remain poor because they are tight-fisted. They don't believe they should be the one to give. After all, I'm poor now. They know I'm poor. They know I don't have. Why should I be the one to give? You should be the one to give me. That is the mentality of the poor. After all, I should be the one to, you know my situation now. You know my circumstance, that I'm poor. I'm a child. I shouldn't be the one to give. You should be the one to give me. Who says a particular person must be the one to give? Who says must be the white that must give black something? Who says that? Where was it written? So the poor remain poor because they are tight. They don't think of giving. And the hand that receives is always lower. So if you are even now receiving, it's always lower. There's no how you can be bigger than the person that gives you. And then the one that gives is the one that is on top, is the one that is superior. The one that gives is the one that is at the top. Now we also look at why the rich keep getting rich. Why the blessed keep getting blessed. Because of the principle of seed and harvest. The principle of seed and harvest is a law. It's not even it's a law. Law is stronger than principle because it's been proven over and over to become a canon. Seed and harvest. When you plant, you reap. And when you plant, you get more than you plant during harvest. So the principle of more, when you plant, what comes back is usually more in terms of harvest. Usually more in terms of harvest. Harvest is usually bigger than the seed. So, and that is why the rich keep getting rich. The principle of seed and harvest and the principle of more or multiplication. Whereas when what you practice is zero, I'm not giving anybody anything. No, I don't have enough. I can't give you because me myself I'm looking for. Then zero multiplied by zero will still lead to zero. And that's why there's a scripture that says that he who has will be given more, but he who does not have, even the few that he has will be taken away and given to those who have. Can you imagine? That doesn't sound fair. Why would somebody who have also get more? And then why would somebody who does not have also have taken from him or from her? Why? It doesn't sound fair, but God is not fair. God doesn't work with fairness, he works with justice. So when you multiply 0 by 0, that also leads to 0. That is why the poor will forever remain in a poverty trap. But when you multiply what you have by doing more, giving more, spreading more, you get more in return. And that's why the rich get, you wonder why is it that the rich are continue to get richer and then the poor people keep getting poorer? It's this principle that we are not paying close attention to. And then, because today I said, okay, we're looking at a conventional, and we've talked about the issue of tight-fissedness and open-handedness. This classic scripture that most of us are very familiar with says that give is a command. It says give, and that means when you give something, that's it, that there is something will happen. So when you give, it will be given to you. So that is saying that if you don't give, it won't be given to you. Now it now goes ahead to analyze how it will be given. You won't just get, because we said before about the seed and harvest, when you plant, you get more. Say when you give, it will be given to you, but they now start to explain how it will be given to you. Say you get it in good measure. You will get it pressed down to make room for more so that I can receive more. Pressed down, shake it together, and running over. That means you will continue to get, as you give, you are getting more and more. And even surplus will be put into your bosom, into your account, into your hand, into whatever portfolio or system you have to receive money. It now says for the same measure that you use, it will be measured back to you. Excuse me, please. With the same measure you used to be given back to you. But give. Now, I'm not preaching. I'm not a pastor, and I'm not asking anybody to come and give me money or come and donate money to my ministry, so I can talk. So at least I'm glad that, okay, at least I'm not occupying because, he wants to collect money, he wants to raise money. No, this is not about that. We are looking at principle here. And I'm not going to say, okay, offering time. There's not going to be offering time at the end of this session. So I'm glad that I'm in a good place to talk about this. We say, give, and it will be given to you. So that means if you don't give, it will not be given to you. Not to talk of getting it in good measure, getting it pressed down, getting it shaken together, getting it running over, which is like overflow in your account, in your hand, in your business, in your project, in your ministry, whatever system or structure you have to receive for the same measure. And this is the X factor to wealth. It's unconventional. What do you mean that when I give, that's when because I'm giving means that I'm even reducing from what I have, right? That's the way the poor people think. Giving means that, I'm even reducing what I have. But that is why it's unconventional. It's unconventional because it's not what, it doesn't make sense. How can I get by giving? But who said this word? It is Jesus Christ. Some of us may not be Christians, but at least all over, even historians agree that Jesus, I mean, those who are not Christians can say that, he was a prophet. And is one of the most influential human beings on earth, if not the most influential. He was influential, or is influential to the fact that, and I think that's even I'm not talking about his followers. The age, the calendar we use is defined by him. He's not the one that did the calendar, but the calendar we use to measure our time is defined by him before he was born and after he was born. That's to tell you the kind of influence that he wields. Any time before he was born is called BCE, that is before Christ era. And any time after he was born, on the time he was born, is known as AD, Anno Domini, in the year of the Lord. And that is the most popular calendar we know. And that is influence. So he's the one that said this. Not somebody was saying it. He's the one that said with his own mouth that when you do this, you will get this. So he has credibility to be able to say, do it. And he's not even here with, maybe he's here in spirit, but he's not here to say, okay, come and give to me. Me too, I'm not saying, oh yeah, guys, come and give to me, or come and pay to my ministry. But this is a fundamental principle that works, is the X factor to wealth. We've looked at conventional methods: save, invest, budget, plan, project, cut cost, increase earnings, work, do all those things. But there's an X factor, there's another way that we remember the definition of X factor that we talked about. One single thing with the most significant impact on the outcome. And then, so the principle of seed and harvest. Most of us want wealth, want prosperity, want riches. They don't answer to prayer and fasting. I'm sorry. They don't answer to pilgrimage. Those don't yield financial returns. Only giving does, in terms of the X factor. Prayer, fasting, studying your Bible will only give maybe an idea of what to do, or will guide you to take the right decision until you give, until you practice that giving principle. The prayer, the fasting, the pilgrimage, the whatever, going to mountain, all those things will only be preparing you for the state of mind that will prepare you to give. Please, let's note that. That principle of seed and harvest is very, very fundamental. And I'm glad I'm not asking for offering. If you guys give me offering, I won't mind. Then I took a look at top 10 philanthropists in the world, people that give. I'm sure some of us know this. Even I was surprised when I saw this. There are some names there that are not so familiar. This number one, it's my first time. Jamsetji Tata has given over $102 billion to education and healthcare. Somebody has given in his lifetime $102.4 billion. Imagine how much. If you use that calculator to calculate that in Naira, the calculator will misfunction. And then Bill Gates, that we know, since he entered the top 10 mark, he has never left that. He has given in his time $79 billion, and he's still giving. He's still giving $79 billion to healthcare, to fight extreme poverty, to promote education, access to IT. Warren Buffett, that we also know very well, who actually even mentors Bill Gates and even gave him the idea for giving, has also given $32.1 billion. This is money that they've given. Top 10 philanthropists in the world. George Soros is also somebody that is known to us, has also given, $32 billion. As in Prenji, this also, I mean, not so unknown names, like a Bloomberg. Well, some of us have heard about Bloomberg and all that. The Bloomberg conglomerate is given 12.7 billion. Andrew Carnegie, the steel guy, 9.5 billion. Andrew Carnegie is no more. And then Elon Musk, that we all know, I mean, one of the new names on the list now. See, when did this start? And he has given 7.6 billion. And some of these names are still on the world's top 10. So you wonder why they are still there on the top 10. Because they were giving. Because they were devoted to giving. And I was like, wow, this is instructive. And there are many more names that we probably know, but who are not here. Because I just let me work with top 10. Then there's also an example I would like to, I need to open I don't know if I can get somebody to help to do this reading. Okay, I'm not sure if I want to read the whole thing, but just to talk in terms of personal example of how giving helps is something that I've also done. In fact, I mean, every month, I mean, we have Africans generally we have to give, we have to, and there was a time this was even in because we're also religious, and also I also fall in that category. And I mean, there was a pledge that was made in my church. Okay, what we were trying to build, I mean, an auditorium then. So, okay, the church wasn't meeting that target, and you're like, oh, I'm done. So they said, okay, those who can pledge to give 1 million, they should come forward. It was funny because even then I didn't have 1 million kobo in my account, but I felt, oh, there's some people owing me money. I can give this 1 million. Why not? So I went out. I was going to I didn't want to go out, but thankfully my wife was beside me. Hey, why not go out? Maybe they will lay hand and then they will pray for you. I said, God, I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to do it publicly. So I just took her advice and I went. I didn't have that money, but I pledged it. And that led to a series of this house was like the final pieces. There were so many jobs that were coming, big jobs to work at the federal level, a national project. I want to work at a presidential campaign, to do many, many things. I mean, I wrote down, I was like looking at the time. They kept, after redeeming that pledge of 1 million, then it came, then this house was like, because I pledged towards the house. This is my house in Nigeria. And this is the dedication of the house then when we were doing the dedication. And it just kept coming. This one will call jobs that I didn't even know anything about, that I wouldn't even be able to go there on my own. Somebody will just call me from, we know how you can do this thing. Come and do it for us. From Lagos State, we did 2 jobs for Lagos State. I had to train the staff at some point, and then we handled but so many, they were just coming. Because of giving 1 million. Now, I'm not saying you give 1 million, but there is something you can do, but at least it will cost you something. That 1 million was already out of my budget because I had to give it, and I didn't even have it at that time. But when I got it, I redeemed the pledge. And it works, guys. It works. This giving principle, it works. So I was probably not looking fine. Now, this is what it was looking when we had to buy this. I didn't even have to build it for several millions of naira. Money that I didn't even imagine that I had myself. Several millions, no mortgage. I went to use mortgage at some point, but mortgage didn't work out. So I had to still raise the fund on my own. And it came. And today I'm not owing anybody in this house. And so it works. It works. Full of that X factor. That is the X factor to wealth, is the X factor to prosperity. Maybe what I will just drop those accounts, I will drop them in the tribe. So those of you who are in the tribe, maybe you will see the testimony, so to speak, in the tribe group that we shared there. You see the details of just giving, what giving does. And here are my final thoughts about this topic, so that as we round off. Working leads to earning. Earning enables you to give. When you earn, you can give. And giving starts with tithing, that 10%. Now, you will see from that list of those people that you didn't hear that they were giving to church, but that doesn't mean that they were not also tithing. It could be 10% of what they were even earning that they were giving. That's 10%. If you don't believe in doing zakat, that's for Muslims, or doing tithing for Christians, at least identify needs or a need that you can give to. You have to give at least 10%. Is a fundamental, whatever. You can give more than that, but ensure that you don't eat all your earning. If you don't give, you can't receive. Make sure that 10% is sacrosanct. Even me, it's not as if it's all the months that have to give 10% to church. But there are needs. There are people calling, we need this, we need that, and all that. 10% is still, I ensure that I don't spend it on myself. It's spent on others, to meet others, people's needs, to meet needs in people's life, to meet needs in the society, be it in a religious setting, be it in the lives of people. Somebody has medical needs, and you have, no, this money is tight, I'm going to give it to church. You have been hypocritical. If you don't have any other money to give the person, give the 10%. But ensure you don't hold it too tightly to you. And that 10% is very, very fundamental. And as you continue to do it faithfully, you will get back in return. And what that tithing, so forget tithing, I'm not talking in terms of church tithing now, the way we say it in the religious place. It's just the tithe means 10%. Offers you security. If you look at it from the spiritual perspective, he also says that, devourers will not be able to come near. Security, when you give, you're actually securing your asset. You are securing your income. It's a security. It's security. It offers you security that you won't have to now give to something that will take the whole money away. And that security helps to give more. Helps you to give more. And then when you give more, that leads to increase. And then the more you give, the more you also increase. So that's my final thought about this. For those of us who are not in the Thrive communities, we always invite you to try and join us. Some of my thoughts, my meditation are shared there, at times daily, at times it depends on how frequently they come. So you can use this short link to join the community, as the case may be. This is the full WhatsApp. Mary can also help us to drop the link, or whoever has the link can also drop it. Can also drop it in the chat for us. But you can use this short link to join the WhatsApp community of Thrivers. And then the takeaway for us is, let's start. Giving is that X factor. Is that X factor to wealth. Is that X factor to prosperity. You have to be a committed giver. Don't be a seasonal giver. Don't say I'm too poor to give. They should know that me too, I need money. That's why the poor keep remaining poor. So thanks for listening. Does anybody have questions? I want to go back to that. Does anybody have questions? questions or contributions, you have something to say or to add, please, you have the floor now before we call it a day. Questions. Thank God, as I said, we are not asking for donations at the end of this. I say, he wants us to give money. But it's something that all of us should know, that is the X factor to wealth and to prosperity. Any question, any clarification needed? Okay. I want to say thank you to everyone for being with us here today, tonight, this afternoon, this evening. It's still morning where I am. So this morning.
I see your weather is good over there.
Yeah, I mean, we're already in winter, so it's very. So thank guys for coming. If there's no question, if there's no comment, if there's no further, if anybody have any, you can also, if you're in the WhatsApp group, you can ask your questions there. Okay. So for clarity, are you saying, okay, somebody asked a question, are you saying that, yes, that's what I said, the X factor to wealth and prosperity is giving. It doesn't make sense, really. Okay, maybe just drop the WhatsApp link for us. Those of us who are not there can just click on this link and join the WhatsApp community. The X factor is give. It doesn't make sense. It's, can you say by giving I will get, but that is it. And I'm not a pastor. I'm not asking for offering. I'm not saying, okay, yeah, come and give. So, but for you to attain wealth and prosperity, man, you've got to give. You've got to give. You've got to, and make it a habit. Make it a culture. Make it something you do regularly. Everything that comes to you, make sure you are giving a part of it. You are not spending everything. You are saving, you are also giving, and you're also meeting needs. So it's very important. Is that's the X factor to wealth. At least I, from my own, account, I will drop that account of my testimony, so to speak, in the Thrive for us to read. And most of these topics, they are not something that maybe I would have even thought of. Like this, I didn't know I was going to talk about this then, but when it came, I know I've been listening to having this because I'm also a bit spiritual in nature, so I try to listen to what God is telling me. And when it came, I said, this is it. So I didn't plan. I knew we were going to talk about the. I was thinking of inviting a property person to come and talk to us how to invest in property and all that, starting with as little as whatever we can afford. When that, this is it. So the X factor to wealth, to prosperity, that is not conventional, is that giving. You may not get, see, let's also not be transactional, because some of us, we also lose out by being transactional. And when I give, I will receive. When I give God, God will give me back. That once you've now turned into a business deal, give sincerely. Make it something you do from a sincere heart. You're not doing it to twist God or to blackmail God. The day I was giving, I have not received. And don't say you are too young to give. Don't say you are too poor to give. Nobody is too poor to give. Nobody is too broke not to give something. Give. Give in your church, give in your mosque, give in your associations, in your society, give to people in need. Some of us know people in our lives who are in need. And you know what? I have to take this money to church. That's being hypocritical.
James, show me what the time. Let me check.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comment, please, before we call it a day? I want to say thank you to everyone for coming today. You have a fantastic and a wonderful new week and December. I'm not sure we'll meet in December, but if we are going to meet, we'll let you guys know. So have a wonderful time of giving and prospering and building from here. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Richard.